Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, yep. Alabama and Georgia are fighting over an ace coach and recruiter. They got more players leaving in Alabama, and it's hectic down there. It is very fluid, I think is the proper word. And it's, man, I'm telling you, Kirby Smart, as you know, he does not do any other coach's favors.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
That's right. He will sweep that leg. Don't think he won't. So let's get into this story. And this story is all over Alabama and Georgia. What happened was Kirby Smart swooped in, hired Travaris Robinson, who's also known as T-Rob, who is a defensive back coach and a very good one. He's also known for his terrific recruiting. He has recruited 5-star after 5-star to Alabama. And of course, when you've got Nick Saban and you got T-Rob, that's a heck of a combination, especially for those safeties, cornerbacks. I mean, just those key elements of your defense. So Kirby recognized that and made him co-defensive coordinator. And so Kirby thought he had him, but obviously being pressured by Nick Saban, hey, you'd better not let this guy go. So Kalen DeBoer, who is like in 24 hours having to make all these epic decisions, said, oh, okay, I'll interview him. They've interviewed him as a possible defensive coordinator, but I'm sure Kalen DeBoer is like, crap, you know, I've got to make my own decisions. I'm the head coach. I really don't need Nick Saban telling me what to do. Now, I'm not insinuating that's what happened. It sure does seem like that's what happened. And probably a lot of the Alabama players, too, were like, look, we want T-Rob. Go get him back. So it could have been that as well. So you Alabama fans, calm down. I'm not talking about your precious Nick Saban. I know how touchy you get. So anyway, as of right now, and I've been trying to keep up with this, Georgia still feels confident that they've got T-Rob and he's going to be co-defensive coordinator. But a lot of the folks in Alabama are like, we'll see about that. We're still trying to get him. And in this story, it talks about how Saturday Georgia announced the hiring of him. And then Robinson interviewed for the Alabama defensive coordinator position on Sunday. Said rumors circulated for hours that even if Robinson had been officially hired by Georgia, never say never. Talks about Alabama Crimson Tide message boards lit up about the possibility of Robinson changing his mind. And, of course, Georgia's loving this. They're trying to literally raid Alabama of their best pieces. Says Dawn of the Dog said right now the Georgia Empire is rising and the Emperor Kirby Smart is taking the remnants of the Alabama Empire and making Georgia even stronger.
Yeah. Only now, at the end, do you understand?
Oh, them's fighting words for Alabama folks. They're not liking that at all. I can promise you. There's a lot of people that are roasting marshmallows over the fire that's in Tuscaloosa, and folks in Alabama are like, oh. And look, you got to expect this. You've had all this dominance over, a decade, almost 17 years. Georgia has recently risen up, and they want that mantle. They want to take it over. And look, there's some others coming in too. There's Texas, there's Oklahoma, Tennessee's rising, even Ole Miss. What's Ole Miss thinking? And Missouri. Missouri, I can't believe those guys. So there's a lot of people that want that mantle, and they're all trying to pull pieces from Alabama. And I'm sure the Bulldogs are thinking, gosh, if we got him, we might pull some more of those Alabama defensive players, like maybe a Caleb Downs, which would be huge. And maybe a few others coming up, because there are some people decommitting additionally in the last 24 hours. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But this has been a heck of a battle. And here's the thing that everybody needs to understand. Everybody thinks that Alabama is the draw. Alabama is not necessarily the draw. What it was Nick Saban, because Nick Saban's going to get you ready for the NFL, which he's done a beautiful job of ever since he reached Alabama. So a lot of those players, they're not taking as much money to go to Alabama because, look, Alabama's NIL is not that terrific. Alabama doesn't pay their players a whole lot of money to be there. They consider it to be a privilege to be working with Nick Saban, and a lot of the players go along with that because they know, hey, I may not get this $100,000, but I'll be getting tens of millions later. Because think of all the Alabama players that have gone in the first, second, third round. There's tons of them. So they've been betting on themselves. Well, now Nick's gone. And so Alabama's there. They have no idea who this Kalen DeBoer is. Honestly, in the South, he is a very unknown name. I recently found out about him this year because Washington played well. He's not known in the recruiting circles at all in the South. None.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, his recruiting was poor. He picked up a few players in the transfer portal, and that's what got him good. Plus, he's an X's and O's guy. I think they've hired a really good coach as far as technicals are concerned. But his recruiting has been poor, and he doesn't have those connections down south. And Alabama doesn't have some big-time NIL collective. And I'm going to spend a little time on this because nobody ever does. Let's take a look at the NIL collectives that are doing the best or that are the most aggressive. And you can find this on various websites. This one's on Ducks Wire by Miles Dwyer. But here are your top 10 as of last year. Number 10 was West Virginia, Country Roads Trust. Number 9 was Ole Miss, the Grove Collective. Number 8, Arkansas. One Arkansas NIL. They've actually done a good job in Arkansas. USC, House of Victory, is number 7. Miami, Canes Connection. Number 4 is Texas One Fund. That's going to grow. They have unlimited oil money down there. That's going to pick up. It'll probably be top 3 very soon. Number 3 is Oregon, Division Street. They've got a lot of Nike money, I would expect. Texas A&M, 12-man fund. That's not a surprise. You know the money they've been allegedly spending there. And then number 1, this doesn't surprise anybody, Spire Sports Group, Tennessee. Tennessee jumped on the NIL collective early on. A lot of teams' NILs actually copy Spire Sports or basically mimic it because they've done such a good job. So you'll notice Alabama's not in there, and that's because Alabama has not had to pay because they've got Nick Saban. He's not only worth a lot of money as a head coach, he's worth a lot of money in savings with NIL because, you know, like I said, he's the GOAT. There's only one GOAT. Now, Kirby thinks he's going to be the next GOAT, and that might very well be the case. So he's going into Alabama's kingdom and pulling out every key piece he can.
I drink your milkshake.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to drink Alabama's milkshake. There's no doubt. And Alabama just had one of their key tight ends, Amari Niblick. He's going to transfer, and he was really good for Alabama and very athletic. This is a tough loss for him. They really had big plans for this guy. He was actually really good last year. He had 4 touchdowns, caught quite a few balls, really good block. He just does everything well. So this is a key loss. And they also had a 5-star that just decommitted. And this is Saturday Down South with Paul Harvey. Said loses elite 5-star commitment. And this is on Hayes Fawcett. 5-star wide receiver Jamie French tells me he has decommitted from Alabama. He's the number 3 wide receiver in the 25 class. He's the second 5-star wide receiver to decommit from Alabama since Nick Saban's retirement. So as hard as Kalen DeBoer is trying to put a tourniquet on this thing, because really he just needs to hold on to what he's got. But that's hard to do because, as we've just discussed, a lot of these guys committed to Nick Saban. And when he went out on the recruiting trail, he was hard to say no to. You know, last January, he spent the entire month recruiting and brought in the number 1, just a massive class. I believe it was the number 1 class of all time. Nick Saban is he's a beast out there. I'm telling you, the guy's a beast.
She's just a beast. A beast is what she is.
So you got a heck of a battle down there. We'll see what happens with T-Rob. Georgia very much wants him. Alabama's trying to hold on to him. But I'm telling you, it's tough when you start putting pressure on the new coach to make these huge decisions. You have to decide this guy's going to be my defensive coordinator within 24 hours, and you've not even hardly interviewed the guy. You've spent no time with him. No coach wants to work that way. And that's a lot of pressure on this guy. I don't know if he's going to be allowed to do this job. I really don't. You know, I know Nick Saban's got an office there now. You know, is he going to be breathing down his neck? I don't think he will. Nick doesn't strike me as that type of guy, but man, his shadow is going to be all over this dude for a few years. And if he doesn't coach well, and look, it's all about winning. If he doesn't win, he'll be gone within 3 years. And this is a super tough spot to be in. I would not want to be the guy following Nick Saban. I'd want to be the guy that follows the guy following Nick Saban. You want to be the next coach because Alabama is going to expect you to coach as well as Nick Saban, and they're going to expect you to win like he does. You've got to win a natty every 3 years, period. If you don't, you have not reached the standard that they expect, the Bama standard. And Kirby's going to be over there doing what he does, which is going to aggravate Alabama. This is something to watch. It really is. It's been very intriguing. And for my Vols fans, I don't have any new information on this Zalance Hurd. I don't know what the heck's going on, why he is not committed. I really thought we had this guy in the boat, and he is a terrific 5-star offensive lineman that we badly need, left tackle. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but we've got to get this guy in the boat. We really need an offensive tackle, and this guy would be ideal.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
He was the top recruit for LSU last year and would be a terrific addition to us, and we've got them. I don't think it's about the money. I really don't. Maybe he's asking for more than what he's worth. Who knows? But we have the money at Spire Sports, and that's what's frustrating right now. We missed out on Jordan Seaton, who was a 5-star offensive tackle, who wound up committing to Colorado, and it wasn't over money. My understanding is we offered more than anyone. So I don't think it's money. It may just be, he either maybe thinking I'm going to stay at LSU, or maybe he wants more money he's worth, or maybe Oklahoma's gotten in his ear. It's hard to say, but hopefully we'll find out something soon. But the longer it goes, the more I'm concerned about it. And I also expect George McIntyre to commit in the next week or so. I don't see him picking Alabama at this point. I don't think he spent any time with Kalen DeBoer, and he's been to Tennessee like 6 times. And he's from the state of Tennessee, so that 5-star QB, I would expect him to commit fairly soon. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover the SEC, my Vols, all the big stories. If you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just hit this little button. I'd appreciate it. And right over here is the most recent story that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. So check that one out. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.